Celestial blessings, my name is Helen Demetriou. Before I move on to the subject, I want to thank all my new subscribers. I also want to thank all of you who have supported me and followed me through the years. Those of you who click like on my videos, those of you who take the time to comment, and those of you who share my videos, I appreciate you so much. You don't know how much I'm grateful for the time you take to watch my videos and to spread my word to other people. It means so much to me. I know how important time is, and I really appreciate you. So thank you so much. I love you so much. So today I'm going to talk about something that many spiritual teachers or therapists really don't like to talk about because of the stigma that is attached to spiritual people who charge for their services. So this video, as the title says, is should spiritual people charge for their services? Why do they charge for their services? So this is for those who do charge for their services, those that can relate to what I'm about to say. Also to those who do pay for spiritual services so they can understand more the background of those who you buy from. And also this is directed to those people who ask how we can charge for spiritual services when it's something that is divine and it doesn't come from us. So this is hopefully going to cover what the questions I've been asked, what I've seen been asked to other people on YouTube or on Facebook about spiritual services and charging for taking money for spiritual services. Now, because this is a vlog, as usual, I will use myself as an example, and I'm going to get very personal. And I realised that the only way to explain certain things is if I am honest about some very personal things about my life, which, even though I talk about past experiences, I know that I don't talk much about myself personally or my family. But I think that it's time now that people begin to understand why people charge for spiritual services. Now, I remember when I was about 5-6 years old, that was the earliest I remember that I used to do readings for people. Even though some were afraid of me, that this little girl was coming out with all these messages for them and seeing spirits standing next to them. It was something that came very naturally to me. Obviously, the younger you are, the more open you are, and the more easier it is for spirit to open channels with you. So as I got older, I began to read the tarot, and I remember my dad had a woman that worked for him. She was a medium and a tarot reader, and I would just talk to her for hours and ask her so many questions. And she would say to me, about that time I was about 11, 12, why don't you ask money for your readings? Now, I know that I was only young. I mean, they could have given the money to my parents to keep for me or whatever. And I say, how can I charge for something that doesn't come from me? How can I charge people money for something that is divine? You know, and she would say to me, it's because of your time, the time and the energy you spend giving that reading. It's not the reading itself that you're charging for, and it's not all the love and the affection that you give during that reading. It's the time that you take. And I couldn't understand why, if you wanted to help somebody, you would just donate that time. You know, you wouldn't think to get paid for giving people your time and your energy. To me, if you wanted to help people, that included giving your time, not just the reading. And I couldn't understand it at that age. And even as I grew up and people would, ask me, why don't you charge for your time. And I would still say the same thing. I can't charge for my time. I can't do this. If I'm supposed to help people, why am I going to charge money to these poor people that need help, and then I'm going to ask them for money? I couldn't understand. And it wasn't until I got married and I had children that people began hearing about me and wanting to come for readings. And they would turn up at all different hours of the day. They wouldn't call. Even if they did call, they'd be crying and saying, I need to come and see you. And I'd say, look, I've got my children. Please, if you don't help me, I'm going to do this to myself, or I can't breathe, or I can't live. And they were just knocking on my door at different hours of the day. And I began to get really upset, and I began to get exhausted. They drained the life out of me, basically. And I started to resent it and hate what I was and what I did, because I felt that I was being, not that I felt, I knew I was being taken advantage of. So I remember this one time, this woman, now I have to just say something. I always remember what Raven Silverwolf says, Silver Ravenwolf says in one of her books about charging. Don't tell somebody when they ask how much do I owe you, say to them, give me how much you think the reading was worth, or whatever you want, because they could give you $5 and you're going to think to yourself, is that how much you think I'm worth? So you always have to set a boundary. You always have to set a price, not only just to keep yourself in line and with a structure, but also to keep yourself, to keep people from just making you feel like you are nothing, that's how much they appreciate you. So I remember I had this woman, she just turned up. I had my kids screaming. I was speaking to her on the intercom. She says, I need help. I says, I'm sorry, I've got my children here, I can't do this, please help me, please, please, please. And obviously, because of I'm a compassionate person, I said okay. So she came in, I gave her the reading, I gave her the spiritual counselling, and I remember that she opened up her purse, and she just opened up this purse and allowed these coins to just fall on the table. And she said to me, that's all I have. I'm sorry, that's all I have. And there must have been like 60 cents. Now the thing is, if somebody is poor and they have no money, I completely understand. I do more free work than I do paid work. But this woman drives a Mercedes, she's wearing designer clothes, she owns a business, and she came to me, who I'm struggling with 2 children, and insults me by putting some coins and telling me that that's all she has. And it was from that time that I said to her, you know what, keep it, it's on me. The thing is, there are many of you that might not agree with me, and I don't care. Maybe you've never been through this. Maybe I don't know your situation, and I know my situation. And I know that it was at that time when I was tired and I was exhausted and I felt taken advantage of and unappreciated, and I felt that, people thought that I wasn't worth enough to think that, well, look, she's given me her time, she's given me her energy, the least I can do is give her something, give her something for her time and her energy. But these people don't think these things. When you do things for people for free all the time, they take advantage of you. And this is why I understand where Mikao Usui for the Reiki, the one who reinvented Reiki, he explains about the exchange in energy, that you have to, if you're going to give a healing, you must receive something back, because otherwise they don't appreciate it. They're ungrateful. this is part of human nature, that most people, if you give and give and give, they don't respect it, because they've not paid their money to it for it, because they attach monetary worth to things. And if something's not so expensive, or if something's free, they don't respect it, and they don't respect the person that's giving it to them. So it was at that time I sat and I thought, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm here, I'm struggling. I have 2 children. I have bills to pay. I'm working as a waitress, because at the time I was working as a waitress for hours, and then I would go and do another job. And I'm thinking, these people, they just don't respect anything. I'm tired from my job. I'm tired with my children. I'm struggling to buy things for my medication, because I'm an asthmatic. And also at the time, I don't know, there's many of you that know that about my second son. He had problems. He still has problems with speech, and he wasn't speaking until he was like 6 years old, and he used to just speak in numbers, and I had to take him to different therapists and have different tests done, have therapy, and the money, just couldn't find the money to pay for his therapies. And I said to the goddess, and I said to the angels, what should I do? Should I just stop doing these readings, because I'm so tired and I'm getting resentful of people that don't care, that I have my situation. I'm there to help these people and be a martyr to them, but I don't see anybody knocking on my door and saying, Helen, here you are, I'm going to help you for nothing. I have had nobody that really cared about my situation. I had no support, and the biggest problem was the money. So I was told, they said to me, Helen, you've learned a very important lesson. Now begin to charge, and you're going to see those who really need it and those who don't. And you can't continue doing this to yourself, because you're just letting people walk all over. You need to start charging so you can pay for the therapy for your child. So I began to charge for my time. I was learning different healing systems, and I remember the woman came back about a few months later, and I says to her, yeah, it will cost you this much money for a reading. She goes, oh, I'll tell you what, I'll phone you back another day. And I never heard from her again. So it didn't matter how many times that I helped her. And this is not just her, okay? There are many times people will call me, and they used to keep me on the phone for an hour. And then when I'd say to them, look, I can't help you over the phone, you need to come for a service if you're going to be helped. How much is it? I would tell them, well, I'll call you another day. And I'd never hear from them again. This is what people do. They just take advantage. They want something for nothing. And even though you're giving unconditionally, we're not in the days of Jesus where we can go round from one house to another and wait for people to donate food. We're living in a society where we have children. It costs money to live. And so, the reason why I began to do this and I began to charge, was one, because of the energy that I was donating, and, nobody really I'm not saying nobody. There were people that genuinely needed help and really appreciated it, but a lot of the people, they didn't appreciate it. They wasn't grateful. And if I was going to do that, instead of going to work a 9-to-5 job, even though I was working at the time as a waitress, that I'm talking about this time frame, then I couldn't give more of my life to others. So there are many people that are like me that don't go to work in the day, and they do take this as their career. So how are they going to put food on the table and pay their bills if they have sacrificed a 9 to 5 sure thing, sure payment at the end of the week or the month to be able to donate that time to humanity? And believe me, people like me, they don't just work 9 to 5. They are working from the morning till the night, answering emails, answering phone calls, and you have time away even from your children that they'll say to you, oh, you're always working, you're always doing this, you always care about other people, but you don't give us that much time. I mean, of course, I do give my time to my children, but that's how they begin to feel, because this is not a 9 to 5 job. This is a way of life, and this is as many hours in the day. I mean, people don't seem to realise that you get up in the morning, you check your emails. I mean, I don't know about everybody else. I know that a lot of the many popular YouTubers, you know, they have so many emails, comments on the videos. I have emails on Facebook, emails to my personal account. And now that I have Sophoria, I have emails for there as well. So, you know, I have people saying to me, I've sent you an email and you never replied. You're a fake and a fraud. You're not what you say you are. I asked you for help and you ignored me. And I'm like, you know what? Give me a break, okay? I can't do more. What more can I do for you? I have over 400 videos, self-help videos on YouTube for free. That is free teaching, free meditations, free affirmations, free healing. What more do you want for free? Think about how selfish you're being. I have 2 children. I have a home to look after. I have paying clients who think enough to pay me for my services. I have these things, business to run, and 3 pages on Facebook, and I'm helping people left, right and centre. Have a bit of compassion for someone else and stop jumping to conclusions and judging people because they don't answer your email, which could be 5 pages long. And this is the thing with people, because they don't want to put their hands in their pocket and pay for their time. Automatically they judge people for being money grabbers or frauds or charlatans, or you're supposed to do this for free if you're a person of the goddess or of God. You're supposed to not charge, not do this. And I know that it's not just me. I see on other videos, other people have mentioned it to me, that it really gets them down, because here's us thinking, well, you know, we're giving all these hours to helping humanity, to helping people, and we do lots of free work, and then we get people coming to us, usually on our videos, and saying and questioning our ethics about why we're charging for our spiritual services. I mean, I don't know, would you work for nothing? And when I've asked people this, they'll say to me, I do, and I wait for the goddess or for the earth to provide me with food. Well, you know what, you can continue, but I've got 2 children, and I've got animals as well, and I've got a child who I'm working to pay for his therapy. You know, and he needs to go to a private school where he can have a special education teacher, and I can't afford to send him. And I have him crying every day, telling me that I don't understand. The children are laughing at me. The teacher's shouting at me. I don't get it. I feel stupid because he's dyslexic, my son that I'm talking about. And I would need to find the money to send him to this private school because they don't offer enough help in the Cypriot schools. I need to send him to this school, which costs money, and the only way I'm going to do that is if I work and I charge for my time. Now, I'm not telling people to give me money for my problems or to feel sorry for me or my child. But as I said, the only way people will understand why people like me charge is if I tell them personal things about myself. So I have to pay, for my son's speech therapy, his extra lessons, and whatever else it is that I have to. I'm doing this not for just, it's not for me because I don't spend hardly any money on myself. The money goes for my kids. So you want to know the truth? You want me to show you my dirty laundry? You know what? I have no problem. I've got nothing to be ashamed of. So please know that those of you who do accuse us of being charlatans and frauds, and know that many people like me are in my kind of situation. We're just like you. We've all got bills to pay. We all need to eat. We all need to feed our kids and clothe them and pay for their medicine and their doctor's visits and our own medical care. If we're not going to a 9-to-5 job, where are we going to get the money to survive if we're giving that up to help other people? And believe me, again, I'm going to say, we do more free work than we do paid work. Think about it. So, what are the ethics and the morals of spirituality, of charging for your time? If people can't understand that you're a human being and this is what you want to do as your career, then the best thing to do is you either try to explain to them or you just block them. If you go to a doctor has trained, a doctor is meant to save lives, yet they're going to give you your bill and it can be really high. Why should they get paid for healing you and not people like us that heal your mind, body and soul? And we really care about you. You're not just another face. You're not just a number. You're not just a piece of meat. We care about you whole and complete. So this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a long time. How we do get tired, how we do get exhausted, how it's hard to continue wanting to help people, and then on the other side you have many people who are abusive towards you, insulting, offensive, unappreciative, ungrateful, calling you names, judging you, criticizing you, and all you've done basically is put one video up. I mean, I'm talking in general now. You put one video up and you have to have some people just, so you're living this life, you're trying to help, you're doing it for free as well, and you've got people attacking you. It's just like you're trying to climb out of a hole and it's raining, and as you try, and someone's there trying to put their foot on your head and kick you in the face and kick you down. And you get upset and you say, what the hell am I doing this for? But you just keep on going. So this is a reality, guys. It's not this glamour thing, oh, I'm a healer, or I'm a witch, or I'm a therapist or a teacher, and it's not glamorous. It's not always fun. It's not something that, you think it's something amazing. Yes, you do have personal times of having those wow moments, but when you go out there into the public and you give, you expose yourself, you're going to get all kinds of people. You're going to get the good ones they love you for caring about people, and even those that do pay for your services, they're so grateful for the time and energy that you put into it, because you charge such an amount, but what you give is like 100 times more than that. Now, I don't agree with people that charge disgusting prices for their services, we always have to try and keep within a limit and not see people as people to, money makers. Yes, there are people out there that are frauds and charlatans, and they give the rest of us a bad name. There are those out there that are doing this just for the money, and they don't care if you're there 1 minute longer, they're going to charge you. There are people like this, but I'm not talking about people like this. I'm talking about people like myself and many of my YouTuber friends who do charge for their readings, who charge for their healings, who charge for their lessons and their courses, because this is our career. And we've all got bills to pay and kids to feed and lives to struggle through. Because believe me, while we're healing everyone else, we suffer. And you won't like that, but it is the truth. There are many of us that are going through such terrible situations in our lives, yet we're selfless enough that we just put our problems aside and we go to help other people. And I'm talking about paid or not paid or whatever. People would never know there's something wrong with me. They would never know that I'd been crying an hour earlier, because when they speak to me, I'm loving, I'm happy, I'm jovial, and I don't project my problems onto others. I think, you know what, Helen, get yourself sorted. You've got a job to do. You're here for a reason. Now get to it. And that basically wraps up this conversation. So thank you for listening. I love you. Bye bye.